On September 11th, 2021, I, Dr. Czar, participated in a historical tour and paranormal investigation of Massillon Public Library in Ohio. I was accompanied by local history and genealogy specialist Christine Bauman, as well as members of both the Massillon Paranormal Research Association and Your Paranormal. What you will see in today's video is some of the footage from our tour and investigation, and rather than try to slow down or highlight any particular sounds or footage, thereby potentially influencing your perception of what you are watching, I will instead leave it to you to see if you notice anything you would consider paranormal in the following footage.
Some things in here and they just like flew off the shelves. He's probably the one who has the most stories where he's had trouble opening doors, like it would not open and somebody else walked up and opened it. He's had a piano play itself. He's seen things flying off the shelves. So.
Is that the
security guard?
The Massillon PRG guy?
No, this is the security guard for here.
Security guard, okay.
Yeah, and our director, her office is right above this. She's been working before and seen somebody walk by in the hallway and thought somebody else was here and went out and nobody else was in the library. So there have been things, just not me. Jessica, my boss, she's been, when she works upstairs in our office area, she hears typing from one of the other offices and none of us are there. Mm. But Kervin probably has the most, and Susan, who's another reference person, the most stories. But this is part of the older house here too.
Was the security guard the gentleman I saw walking towards the parking lot?
Yeah, and he had his like police security outfit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he'll still be here?
No, he actually left.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He leaves with everybody. I asked him at one point to tell me where his stories occurred. That way, just in case you're going to see behind the curtain. Like, I want things to happen, but they never happen to me, so.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of these paranormal things and I advise the college group and you know, not much happened to me.
So, director's office, and so this is where she was, and I don't know about opening the door. I don't know.
I could stop recording.
The attic is that way. The attic feels like there should be something up there, but they've never gotten any activity up there before. But it's kind of cool. But it's through and up, if you want to take a look at that at some point.
Sure.
This is the gallery. This is where the reference department, where our offices are. This is Jessica's office. And this is the area where she hears people typing. Like, I'm wondering if they're hanging out here in my office. Yeah. So, little cubbies here. And this again is part of the old original house. That way cuts through to the rotunda. This way goes back to the offices and the attic. Which way would you like to go?
Let's go that way.
Okay.
Go to the rotunda. That sounds interesting.
So the rotunda was part that we were standing in down below. And it was added in 1936, 37 were remodels. So, and that's where we started down there. And again, it surprises me that there have been occurrences in the newer part of the building, because I figured it would be isolated to the older section. So this is all part of that 36.
Now, have you ever been part of a paranormal investigation
No, I
before?
have not.
That's so excited.
I'm interested. I have, but then I probably am going to bring bad luck to your investigation simply because I think the paranormal avoids me. So this takes us back down to where we were before.
Okay.
So do you want to go back through and see the other part?
Sure.
Or, okay. These are our wonderful, this is our collection of papers, the Roach Wales papers that were left to us, historic documents, all locked in cabinets, fireproof cabinets there. I'm trying to get a grant for digitization and for more archival supplies for those. So.
Okay.
Cool.
This area used to be our computer area, but it's actually going to become a teen, young adult area, so it's in transition. The elevator has been known to go up and down during the night for no random reason. It's been caught on security footage.
Before you said been known to, I'm thinking like, well, I'd hope an elevator goes up and down.
Jessica's witnessed it, like nobody in it, just goes up and down, but they don't know if that's true. And then there's some offices and stuff back here, and then the attic. I don't know if it's locked. I'll have to look. It might be locked. I might have to have Jessica for that purpose. I've only been up here once, so. Like I said, it feels like something should happen up here, but I think it could be locked. Oh, no, it's not. Doesn't it feel like there should be something happening up here?
Yeah, I
Especially
mean,
that section.
things like attics and basements are kind of like what you'd expect.
Yeah,
But then again, not necessarily did anything happen in them,
right. Well, because people weren't living in them per se,
Right,
right?
I
They
mean,
weren't, and I did ask the group downstairs, and they said, yes, people have died in this older section in this building, so. And their methodology, they did research, and then on the people who lived here, and then when they asked questions, when they were doing their readings, they would ask questions specific to them to try to get a response. So I thought that was kind of an interesting methodology. So, all right, I'll let you guys go.
Okay.
If you want.
Sure. Thank you.
Storage up here too, I mean, how exciting. The attic.
There might be all kind of treasures in the storage.
Oh, I'm sure. There's a case down up there that was in local history that I would love to work back in if I had room.
Yeah?
All right.
Now, when you all have done investigations before, in this particular room, have you had any encounters or anything, or no?
Yes. So I want to say it was on like the third or fourth investigation. The rest of my team was throughout the building doing investigations, and it was myself and another gentleman that worked here. There used to be two really big, comfortable chairs in this room, and I was sitting there, he was sitting across from me, and we were just talking, and I'm telling him, like, man, these chairs are really soft and comfortable. There's no way I could read here. I'd fall asleep. He's like, well, people have before. I said, I'd be embarrassed. He's like, well, they're not. And we kind of laughed a little bit about that. And I had the recorder, and upon reviewing it that night, I hear that conversation, and I hear a female say, they sleep here sometimes. It was roughly about a Class B EVP, but
And did you get it on the audio equipment?
yes.
Okay.
So that was impressive, just because like I said, this isn't part of the original building, and I wasn't expecting to hear a female voice, and it was just two, myself and another gentleman. The rest of the ladies were in another part of the building. So that was nice that it was a female voice that came through, because we could rule out all the females in our group.
Okay. And you don't remember how long ago that was?
That was back in maybe 2006, 2007, roughly.
Okay. Wow, so that was a while ago then.
Mhm.
All right. And you're Brian as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, to get started then, I guess we could say who's all here. So I'm Dr. Czar, or Matthew, and I'm here with
Brian?
Brian.
Lena. Kate. And Alex. Jessica. Christine.
Okay. And we're just doing a little investigation of the library here. So we're curious if there's anybody here with us other than the people that have just said their names. Okay. If there is anybody here with us, do you recognize anybody in the room at present?
Can you tell us what year you were born? Did you live here in life?
Okay, well, first it's 3:45, and I just wanted to introduce ourselves. I know we went around and I guess said our names, but me, Dr. Z, and Alex are from a team called Your Paranormal, and much like MPRA, who's been here like 7 or 11 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just want to hear your story, maybe help you get a message across to someone. You know, we're just here to help, and clearly we're all friends of the library and we care about the community, and we're just here to help you. So I guess I just wanted to introduce us and give the time there, and we'll just go around and we'll just call your name and you can ask a few questions and whatnot, but we just kind of wanted to give you an opportunity, instead of asking you questions, if there's anything that you want to tell us, a message we can help you with, anything that we can help you with in any capacity, we just wanted to give you maybe 20 seconds or so just of silence for you to reach out to us. And I just wanted to remind everyone here, if the answer to the question is yes, or if you're trying to tell us something, a loud noise that's close to us, or maybe a tap on the shoulder would be wonderful, just to let us know that you're here. Because again, all we're trying to do is help. Since you're here at the library, is there any books that you recommend for her? This beautiful library has a ton of genres. Can you make a loud noise in your favorite genre?
What was your happiest memory in your life? Did you used to live here?
Did you just have one, or? Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Now, Christine and Jessica, have you been here for a paranormal investigation before?
I have, yes.
You have.
I have not.
Oh, you have not. Okay. All right, Christine, do you have any questions?
I guess I would just wonder why you would pick this building. Why you're here.
And then Alex, did you have any questions, or did you want to?
No, you don't.
Okay. Did anyone else have any more questions? Okay. It's 3:54, and did anyone hear anything or feel anything, or?
Nope.
All right. On to the next. It's 3:56, and I'm going to put this audio recorder on the stairs right here. It's kind of like in the middle of everyone, but it's a nice flat surface. And yeah. So is everyone pretty settled? Everyone's got their good spots?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if you heard. Oh, it's 3:57. We're in like the darker area of. I mean, what would you call this, or Christine, Jessica? What would you call this? Okay, so we're looking like a non-fiction fiction area here. It's Brian, and I'm here with.
Dr. Z?
Brian.
Kate. Lena.
Alex. Christine. Jessica.
Perfect. So I don't know if there's anyone here with us or if you heard us, but we're good friends of the library, and the library helps out the community so much, and we're here to help you. Just like these books give a lot of different messages and help out a lot of people, we want to hear your message and help you in any capacity we can. And the best thing for that is if the answer to the question is yes, or if you have an answer, either tell us or make a loud noise that's close to us, or maybe touch one of us on the shoulder. Now, Christine, why don't you start? Maybe if you could go off of any rumors you have here or any specific questions, and then when you're done with your questions, you could just go ahead and tell me, and I'll just keep passing the torch, okay? It's totally up to you, but that's a good thing for sure.
I've just been curious because there's a couple people who have lots of stories. If there's particular favorites among the staff.
Do you have any more, Christine?
That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Jessica?
Nothing right now.
Okay. Alex, did you think of anything good?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of nonfiction and fiction here, you know, talking about made-up stories or real stories, and we always hear about these different rumors and stories of things happening, and we just kind of want to find out the truth and hear your story. I mean, is what they say goes on here, I mean, is that true? Do you know if anyone's typing on the keyboards or moving books around? I'm going to move my clipboard here, and Dr. Z, you're up.
In the section in which we're in is the various adult fiction books, including mysteries and so forth. Is there a particular book in this section that you like? I think I'm hearing church bells or something, maybe.
Yeah, I think the church next door.
Okay, yeah, because it's
10.
4 p.m., so I think we're hearing church bells. Have you read many of the books that are in this section? I thought I heard some kind of noise. Did you hear something or no?
Yeah, I think that was them.
Okay. All right. You could pass it.
Okay, Brian, what kind of questions do you have?
Can you tell us what year you were born?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Did you have any pets when you were alive? What was your occupation? Again, regarding the books here, if you have a favorite book, are you able to take it or pull it off the shelf, or even a movie?
Okay. Did anyone have any last questions? Okay, did anyone hear or feel or experience anything?
No.
The time is 4:05, and we will And
Jean
that-
Atkins room, is that correct?
It is the Adkins Room,
Adkins.
is the official name. It is named for our former genealogy specialist, Jean Atkins, who passed away in 2016 and was here doing genealogy for roughly 20 years.
Maybe Jean. Does she hang out here? She loves her?
I hope not, Jean. I hope you're not still here. I hope you're off somewhere
Yeah.
peaceful.
Besides the library and work.
Yeah, you're retired now for good.
And we're in the older section of the building now?
Yeah, this is the part of the building that was built 1830s sometime. And this was the original home of the Duncan family, James Duncan, who was the first mayor of Massillon.
His wife is the one who came up with the name for the town.
Do you know what it means or no?
It's from Jean-Baptiste Massillon, and he was a bishop, a French bishop. So there are actual books, like in French, in the case about him and whatnot.
So we have a collection of
Yeah.
his sermons that we received from a scholar who passed away who left them to us, so. But yeah, they're not entirely sure why it is that she named the city after this kind of obscure French cleric, but it's such an uncommon name, we can't really think that it came from anywhere else.
Well, she had a French background, but they wrote, someone from Akron, the University of Akron, wrote about that they felt like her family had been in the States long enough to where they don't think it's because of her French heritage. So,
Yeah. It's funny, there was an entire book that some people from the library and the museum and a bunch of other community organizations collaborated on, and the conclusion that was reached was, we think it's named for Jean-Baptiste de Massillon, and we don't really know why. It's so speculative. It could have been any number of reasons.
Okay. Well, I guess we should just start and reintroduce ourselves real quick. I mean, we don't have to be, cumbersome about it, but again, I don't know if you heard us from the new building, but since this is the old building, we'll just reintroduce ourselves. My name is Brian, and I'm here with
Dr. Z or Matt?
Christine, Kate,
Lena,
Brian?
Jessica?
And we have Alex in the other room who will be joining us shortly. And we're friends of the community, friends of the library, and we're just trying to help you. We don't know if you're stuck here, we don't know if you gravitate here because of the positive impact that it has on the community, but we're just here to help if you have a message or if there's anything we can aid you in because maybe you're stuck here. But we wanted to give you just a few seconds to let us know you're here by maybe a loud noise that's close to us or maybe touching one of our shoulders.
Just as a thought, do any of you, when he asks the question of, I'm assuming nobody minds if things make a noise, but does anybody have any issues getting touched on the shoulder or anything?
Nope.
I don't have any issue with it, but I'll probably find some way to say it was my muscles or something.
Right.
I can't promise I won't scream if it happens, but
Okay.
That would make for good TV.
for you maybe.
Oh, I would pay money for a copy.
I know you would.
It wouldn't be my first time, so
You've had that happen at other places?
I've actually had a spirit pass through me.
Really?
It was at a cemetery, and you want to talk about bone-numbing cold. We were doing a cemetery investigation, and I had my recorder like this, and originally we started smelling pipe tobacco around a certain grave. So we were kind of focusing around there, and we decided to split up to see if it followed us. And my teammate said it started to follow her, and then it got faint and left her. And I started smelling it, so I moved back to a certain headstone, and I was standing there, and like when you lay on your arm and it starts to get that pins and needles just starting, you can still move your hand though. I felt pins and needles go up my arm, straight into my chest, into my body, and the absolute most bone-numbing supernatural cold I've ever felt passed through me. And the smell was so overwhelming of pipe tobacco, it made me nauseous. I told my teammate, get about 10 feet behind me, I think it's going through me. So she hustled around, got behind me, and as the pins and needles stopped in my arm started to warm up, and the smell got more faint, and then she started smelling it. So we started doing some research around a certain gravestone, and it turns out it was a doctor, and we never got any EVPs from him, but he always manifested as pipe tobacco or cigar smell. And my theory is that in life, he must have possibly died of maybe lung or throat cancer or could not speak. Therefore, he comes through now as pipe tobacco or cigar smell.
Were you able to locate any pictures of him or anything?
He died well before pictures were very popular. Ironically, his name was Dr. Coffin. So I'm sure he wasn't popular.
Yeah. Do you know what he was a doctor of or no?
No. He's what I consider my holy grail of finding information on. I talked to the local genealogist of this area. They had some obscure information, but there was no photos of him and not a lot of records. I found his through ancestry. I found some of his parents and his siblings, but that's about it. So it's still an ongoing research.
Did any of your other teammates get anything on camera or anything?
We had no EVPs, just always smells. Always pipe tobacco or cigar smoke, roughly. And that's at a cemetery. And the one time we encountered it, it was actually quite windy. So if somebody was smoking on the front porch and it was just wafting through, it wouldn't have stuck around long, but this stuck around for the duration we were there.
Have you ever experienced any kind of unpleasant, like, violent touches or anything?
I've never had any violent touches. I've never been pushed, shoved, or scratched. I've been told to get out. I've had some pretty unhappy spirits talk to me. We were doing a residential investigation, and I posed a question they didn't like, and during playback, I hear the words "get out." So that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to hear that live.
No, thank you.
Alex, that's you, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that one of the things they claimed in Amityville? That, I don't know if you remember that or not, but they heard, like, the priest or somebody heard it get out or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very rare for a spirit to be actually heard physically. Most of them you hear it on EVP. So Mansfield was for reforming people. You weren't there permanently, you were there to basically get reformed, do your time, learn a trade, and get let go. They would often pair a young teenager with an adult male to do different chores, and they had records of some teenager and male was doing something down that room, I think it was laundry, and the adult inmate basically murdered the young teenager. And when I told them that story, they said that they've heard that boy down there before. So that was interesting. They actually hear something live with their own ears. Wow. And it takes a lot of energy for them to do stuff like that, so that was pretty impressive.
The security guard said, Jessica, what used to be in this, it's something, the books or whatever that flew off the shelf in here?
Our security guard, who is a retired Massillon police officer, no-nonsense guy, said that he was in that room around the time that we were getting ready to close, and that a DVD or two jumped off the shelf at him. And he was visibly shaken from that, and he still tells that story. So that's something that was supposed to have happened out there. But we had a woman who wanted to meet with myself and the director, and she insisted that she was a psychic. Well, we're skeptical whenever anybody says, I'm a psychic and I want to talk to you about the library building, so okay.
Did you ask what DVD or whatever was knocked off the shelf?
I didn't. And he was very clear that it jumped off the shelf at him. It wasn't just that it was knocked off, it was violent.
Yeah, I asked him the same thing, just because I'm skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, it flew the air. There was no way it just fell off.
He wasn't right up against the shelf or anything. He was a little bit away from the shelf, probably as far as I am from the end of the microfilm machine there. So, and that's what he said happened, that it leapt off the shelf. Could it have been knocked off? Possibly, but he was very insistent that that's not what happened.
See, what I'd be curious of would be if it was a specific DVD that had some kind of connection or significance.
The DVDs on the wall where it happened are our TV shows on DVD. I don't know if that's relevant at all, but at the time, that's where we had the TV shows on DVD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are some of the stories. He probably has more stories, I think, than anybody else.
How long has he been here?
He's been here at least since I've been here, and I started in this position in 2011. And he's been here longer than that, so he's been here quite a while.
Well, the beautiful thing about that was, hopefully, when you guys were talking about the history here, we can capture some kind of EVP on the audio recorder, because sometimes just talking, you might catch little EVPs. But again, the beautiful thing about this conversation was maybe something that you said that happened here might have triggered some kind of response saying, I know who did it, or maybe any historical reference that you're trying to bring up helps.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because my question was about Duncan. Everybody talks about it's the ghost of Duncan, it's the ghost of Duncan. So I'm curious, you know, is Duncan here? You know, does this have anything to do with James Duncan, or is it, you know, and if so, what does he think of Massillon now? You know, is kind of creation his baby, right?
He was the first mayor of Massillon, and they resided in this house briefly, and then turned it over to be used for a museum or a library eventually. Also, just so everyone knows, this building is difficult to investigate because we have, I believe, 11 different HVAC units at different points in the building, so there's a lot of machinery kicking on and off all the time.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind.
And you can hear cars going by, and
Yeah.
fortunately I keep making my chair make noise too.
Yeah,
sadly.
and the chairs are creaky, so.
Old chairs and old hats.
I'm gonna check my notebook real quick.
Well, it sounded like we heard a noise in another room. If that was Mr. Duncan or Eliza Duncan, could you make another noise again? I hear people walking.
As I was walking around. Nothing looked a mess, but I did hear something from that room.
Something other than the previous noise?
No, just that.
What room did it sound like?
I thought it came from over there, but it could have come from up or over there too.
Okay.
So we could have the Baldwins as well.
Do you know what their names were?
Annie Steese Baldwin. Steese was her maiden name,
Mhm.
and Frank Lee Baldwin.
That sounds
Yep.
right.
It could be the hangout.
Well, it's 4:27, why don't we, since we're getting out this
As a question for my students and subscribers, did you notice anything that you thought could be paranormal in the video? Also, have you ever or would you ever go on a paranormal investigation? Please let us know in the comments section below this video. If you like this video and would like to receive notification of new videos, please feel welcome to subscribe to History and Headlines and become one of our patrons. Your viewership is much appreciated.